When it comes to building a good diet and exercise plan, I've noticed over the years that there's a very crucial balance between structure and flexibility. So of course, yes, we want some sort of structure and rules to our plan because we want to know roughly what exercises are we doing, how many sets should we be doing, what intensity are we working at. However, flexibility is also crucially important because we want the ability to adapt to circumstances. Any diet and exercise plan that's going to work has to be something that we implement for months, maybe even years at a time. And of course, change is the only constant in life, as they say. So we need something that's going to ebb and flow because your resources and your preferences and your abilities today are going to be different than they are next week or next month and even next year. So we want the ability to conform and adapt to what those changing circumstances are. And we need a healthy dose of both because if we have too much structure and not enough flexibility, it becomes very solid, stiff, and rigid. And there's a lot of philosophical approaches and martial arts and even life often point out that things that are too stiff and rigid usually end up breaking rather than bending and ebbing and flowing. And it doesn't take much for the entire thing to come down like a house of cards. But at the same time, if you have too much flexibility, you lack direction, you lack structure. You just kind of wander into the gym and you're like, I don't know, I'll just kind of do whatever. And if your goal is whatever, then that's fine. But when your goals are more specific than that, you want to have some direction you're going into. And if you don't have those guiding principles and at least some degree of structure, then you run the risk of just wasting a lot of time running around in circles or spinning your wheels. And don't fall for the idea that both of these are going to save you from whatever negativity you're looking for. Because a lot of times we go all in on structure thinking if I have a very strict workout routine and a very strict diet, then that's going to control everything about my weight and my muscles and how my body looks, and I have to follow everything down to the letter. But of course that can be very stifling, so if we have a plan that is free form and completely without any sort of structure, then it is liberating to be like, I just do whatever. I don't care. It's just whatever I feel like on a day-to-day basis. So while both of these certainly seem to be the solution for the other detriments, we certainly have to recognize that both of them have their validity too. We need both at all times. If we have too much or not enough of one of those in your diet and exercise plan, then you're either not going to have the ability to have a foundational structure and get you where you want to go, or it's going to be too rigid and it's not going to adapt to your circumstances, so you're often misapplying the actual habits you're trying to use. And that's why most of my approaches are always a mix of these things. My scoreboard progression log, my 3P dietary strategy, grind style calisthenics. These things are all structured with general guidelines and objectives of this is what you're trying to make happen with your dietary habits, with your workout. These are the objectives you're going after. But at the same time, I don't give a whole lot of specifics like you have to do these many sets, you have to eat these many calories, because honestly, I'm not a mind reader, and any number that I give you are hard, factual guidelines are going to be more of just a randomized, educated guess at best anyway. So to get you started, here's the video on the 3P dietary strategy on how to have some structure with your diet without having to have so much that it's stifling your appetites and your lifestyle. Check it out. Let me know if you have questions below. Be fit, live free.